You know what time it is. You know what time it is.
How firm my friendship. Oh,
you know what time it is. Roll with them boys of the fall. You know what time it is. On the ground with a nose for the ball. You know what time it is. Blood, sweat, and them tears for this game. Leaving it all out on the field with no fear for you lames. And it's Buckeyes by a billion. We in the building with over 100,000. We represent from the uttermost to the public housing. And if we don't play, all wide receivers got your secondary shook, so they cook them like Bobby Flay. Hey, stay out of my way and trust me, cause I know it's OH. Somebody please give this brother an IO. Come on.
What's up, Buckeye Nation? Welcome to the Buckeye Boys, where we talk real football, college football with real fans. I'm Mello, that's Daniel, that's Duke, and as you can see, we have a plethora of young, beautiful women here to share their recruiting experience and their experience in general with just life. But before we get started, I do have to address something where I made a mistake yesterday. I misquoted something that Tyler Atkinson said to Alice Gleitman. I actually pulled it from somebody else's X account, and they were the ones that said that Tyler Atkinson said, I guess Ohio State doesn't want to be number one. That was a false report. He never said that. Alice Gleitman never reported that, and I just wanted to clear that up. And I wanted to apologize personally as a man to Tyler Atkinson, as well to Alice Gleitman. I'm just human. I make a mistake as well. So I can stand on my mistakes, and I'm going to stand here in the paint. I want you guys to understand and forgive me. But do not judge Tyler off of that. Do not judge Alice Gleitman off of that. That was purely my mistake. But now we have a banger show today. And Daniel, Duke, how you guys been?
We good, man.
Good, man. Been good.
Good.
Duke, should we make him stand on it real quick?
Yeah, I'll stand on it.
Okay, so
it sounds like you did, man.
Here's the second time now. We starting this thing off crazy today, man. Here's the second time now that you guys have come on and called it the Buckeye Boys when this is the Pops Pod on Friday.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Pops Pod.
Standing on things. We're gonna go ahead and make you stand on that, sir.
Yes, sir.
And man, it's a day of first, because we started off the show with a retraction. That hey, that's a first on this show, Duke.
It is. Well, it's not our retraction, but
here's the other first. The other first is we usually give you guys.
We with you, man.
Yeah. The other first, the most important first,
right? On
the Pops Pod, it's just usually Duke and myself just kind of talking our stuff, and we always say this is it's two dads just kind of giving our thoughts and feelings on things. This is not an Ohio State thing, even though our sons do attend Ohio State. Mm-hmm. And the first thing we're going to do here is we got a great group of lovely ladies, as everybody can see, and we're going we're going to continue to give you that other side of things, and give you that backdoor look, and now we're on the other side of the coin. Something I've kind of wanted to do for a little bit, and just talk to. Not so much hearing the dad side of it, but that mom side of it. And so I want to just kind of thank all the ladies, after all the rigmarole that kind of started off on the show. I want to thank everybody, on behalf of Duke and myself for being here with us on a Friday night. I really do. Thank you very much.
Yes.
And so
being here. Really
yeah.
Good.
So I just want to give everybody a second just to kind of introduce yourself real quick. Tell everybody who you are, where you come from. Most importantly, who your sons are, what class they're in, and where they're currently attending school. And we'll start off with the lady
in position.
Bottom. If you don't mind, Miss Eleanor, if you don't mind.
Oh, absolutely. The best go first, huh? Absolutely. Y'all already got that in the right order. Well, as you know, Eleanor Marsh, from Texas. My son is Andrew Marsh, wide receiver at the University of Michigan, the class of 2025. Yeah, best go first.
There you go. So moving right along. There you go on it. Ms. Dietrich, how you doing, ma'am?
Hey everyone. Of course, you guys know I'm Deetra Sanchez. My son is Devin Sanchez, and we're from Houston, Texas. He's class of 25, and he attends the Ohio State University. Hey, Shy.
Hey.
Hi, Miss Shy. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Very good. We're just kind of kicking things off. If Miss Juliet, if you don't mind introducing yourself real quick.
For sure. I'm Juliet Pettyjohn, and my son Riley Pettyjohn is a linebacker in the 2025 class at the Ohio State University.
Hello.
OH.
Welcome.
OH.
I am.
So either one of the Ebony's.
Oh, we have two.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm Ebony Lawson from the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area. My son is Christopher Lawson, class of 2025, wide receiver. And that's pretty much it. He attends University of Washington, the best college football setting.
Great to have you. Thank you very much.
Okay, so hi, my name is Ebony Williams. My son's name is Noah Carter. He is class of 2024. He plays at the University of Alabama, Roll Tide. But I have to say that I'm originally from Cleveland, Ohio, so I'm a Buckeye till I die. So my new phrase right now is OH Tide. So that's my new thing. I have to rep both of them, so it's very difficult. But I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Good stuff. Thank you for being here, Miss Shy.
Hi, I'm Nashira Hudson. My son is Jaden Hudson, Hollywood Hood. He is class of 2025, but technically he graduated in 24. He is at UCLA, Forza. And I'm from the Bay. We from the Bay.
Uh-oh.
Nice.
Here we go.
Let's go.
Good. So before we one thing everybody kind of has in common is, and that's kind of the theme of what we're doing here tonight is just about everybody's, if I'm not mistaken, everybody's son is a mid-year here at some point in time throughout their class. So one thing before we get started on kind of going down that route, I kind of want to talk to you guys a little bit, and Duke will kind of hit you guys with this first question. Kind of want to take you back before, when this thing was kind of like in that sophomore, junior year, and you're going through the camps and you're going through the visits and all of those things, and you're talking to coaches. Kind of want to set you in that mindset as we kind of start off before we kind of get into the mid-year thing, as Duke kind of hits you with this first question that we got coming up for you guys.
Yeah. So, moms typically are, the warriors, but what are some of the concerns, some of your top concerns, when your son was going through the process, and why were those things important to you? We'll start with Eleanor.
There we go.
Don't give her that. Don't give her that.
Y'all already know I'm here for it. What was important for me first was the education, what the university stood for as far as an educational standpoint, because my philosophy is education first, football second. So that was important, and I was pleased when I looked at different universities, but the U of M education to me is second to none. Good, like now, future, the alumni, all of that was important.
Okay. What was the separator? I'm pretty sure he was recruited by some really, good institutions. Like, was it more his major, what he wanted to major in?
The major, and then also life after football, alumni, because I'm really big advocate on your alumni is a big thing. Sometimes, it's not even what you know, it's who you know.
Right.
And so that played a big part of that.
Hold on one second. I'm hearing some like feedback or somebody like a phone call. Can everybody mute for a minute?
Yeah, if you're not on, if you're not speaking, if you can go ahead and just kind of mute up while the other one's on. There we go. Thank you, everybody.
There we go. Thank you. Yeah, Ebony, you want to answer that? Noah's mom.
Can you repeat the question? I'm so sorry.
What were your top areas of concern when you were when your son was going through the recruiting process?
So my son was, and I don't know, you guys said something about mid-year, but my son is a class of 2024, so he's a redshirt sophomore right now. Okay. So thinking back of it, just the lies and the promises, like that definitely was my concern. Just like, I'm not really big on the BS, and just like, I want to keep it real. So like, perfect example is being a redshirt sophomore this year. Don't sit there and lie, say to my son that he's going to play freshman year, you know. So I just, you know, wanted the coaches and the staff to keep it real and just to be honest. And so I think we really found that with Coach DeBoer.
That's right stuff. That's what we're talking about. This is what we're doing this for. You know, this, you know, we're looking for honesty when it comes to this stuff. That's why we're asking. Really appreciate you doing that. Juliet, what was your top?
I think for me, my top concern, it wasn't necessarily the education, because by the time Riley had dwindled down to like his top 8 schools, they were all like solid schools from an educational standpoint. I think for me, it was like where he was going to fit well into not just the football program, but on campus, outside of the football facility, and, you know, who I could trust to actually develop him and to coach him. So kind of similar to what Ebony said, like, you just don't want to hear BS. I mean, we hear so many of the same things, I think, when you go on these visits and you're talking to different coaches, or the coaches are coming to visit you. And I just wanted to hear for context clues that would give me more trust in what, you know, some of the coaches were talking about.
Stuff. Deidre, what were your thoughts? What were your main concerns?
Thinking back on it, was not too long ago, but thinking back on it, our main concern was making sure that he was in a good environment, safe. I never wanted to have any worries. Again, I've always said no sleepless nights. I always wanted to make sure that wherever I left him, he was going to come back to me better than when I dropped him off. So that was always important. No one was really, you know, came at me or came at us sideways, because it was very clear from the beginning how we were going to handle our business. And before walking into the doors, everyone kind of knew what to expect from us, what was coming with us, and what we felt and what we were looking for in our son. And I knew early on that the brotherhood at Ohio State was probably one, you know, like no other. And we have been to so many campuses, but nothing was like, you know, going to Ohio State. We had been wined and dined, and it was no longer about that for us, because I wanted to make sure that when I walked away, that I knew that if something happened, or if he wasn't okay, I was going to get a phone call. It wasn't going to get covered up. I knew wherever he went, he was going to have an education. He was going to focus on school. He was going to focus on football. Those two things were most important to him. So that was never my concern. It was always just making sure that where I was leaving him, he was going to be okay.
Great stuff. Miss Ebony, if you don't mind finishing up for us.
So for us, my husband and I, and our family, we're a huge football family. Dating back to when recruiting wasn't this big as it is now. My oldest son played at UNR. I've been in this game for over 25 years. And it changed. So for Christopher, it was different from my other boys, because they didn't have the opportunity that was presented to Christopher. Meaning they only had maybe one school look at him. So we knew where we were going to go, right? So when they start coming, you know, and it was quite a few, I sat my son down. and it's a mess. You all know it's like you said, as a parent, what you're looking for, what you expect, and you don't want to be played with about your son, right? What you're bringing these universities, what you're bringing them to the table, right?
Mhm.
So for my son, we just was, first of all, it's education, like Eleanor and like the other lady said, it was education, it was life after football, and most importantly, it was transparency and who would develop him and what was his perfect fit, you know, and that was that. I mean, and for me, how I told him, when we had to commit, weed out all the BS. Who's seen you and who developed a relationship with you early on? Because an offer is just an offer. You understand? An offer is just an offer. Hey, I want you. But who seen you 8th grade, freshman year, who actually developed a relationship with you? So that narrowed it down to 3 for us. So it was, easy to weed out. Tough, but easy. Yeah. So.
Well, we got somebody back, and then we have a new guest in real quick. So we want to acknowledge the new person in. I want to thank her for being here. Thank you. Hello, Miss Mickey. We want to give you a second to kind of introduce yourself. Tell everybody who you are. Tell everybody who your son is. Tell everybody what class he's in and what school he's currently attending, if you don't mind, real quick.
Okay. Sorry for being late, guys.
You're
We're
fine.
running around.
You're fine.
But I'm Mickey, Robinson Boy's mom. I currently have a wide receiver, Jason Robinson, at North Carolina playing. This will be his second year. He went early last year to UW initially, and then Jaden Robinson leaving tomorrow for Delaware State.
Congratulations. So real quick, Ms. Shai, as you're kind of up here with this question that we kind of asked everybody, and everybody's had a second to kind of answer. I want you guys, you and Ms. Mickey, to kind of go back to the process of what we're kind of talking about here tonight, and with you guys all being mothers of guys who went into school as mid-years. But we want to go back to before when you guys were kind of in the junior process, and just want to remind everybody to put it on mute if you're not speaking. Go back into the process again one more time, and thinking back when you're going through your visits, you're going through those things that, what was important to you guys that you were, as a family, as you were going through the process of selecting a school.
Yeah, so mine was transparency.
Can you mute Shai?
Oh, I thought he was.
Shai's up. You're up. Go ahead, Shai.
No, you're up.
So for me, it was transparency, and also, I went through the process myself, so I already knew what was to be expected. I knew what the coaches, were gonna say, and I knew about these empty promises. So I just, talked to my son about that, and kind of pretty much explained to my husband the same thing, because he was new going into this thing as well. So for me, it was transparency, but also, like you said, building those relationships and things like that. My son, it was kind of different because he was being recruited as a receiver and a DB. So we were getting offers from both sides. And he had to make the decision on, which position he wanted to go for, and then which school was offering that, but because there was so many other talented guys out there going for those same positions, I just asked them, think realistically. We need to see how many other kids they're recruiting at your same position, right? And then it's a depth chart that they have. So where would you sit on that? But also it was education, and it was a location for us as well. But for us, things shifted because Jaden had an injury, and his meniscus was flipped, so he had to have surgery. And there were schools that were like, we don't know. Let's see what it's gonna do. But there were a couple schools that was like, that's minor, that's nothing for you to worry about. It's something easy that you can bounce back from. So for us, it was those schools who still stayed the course for recruiting him, even checking in on him as we went through that process. And that meant a lot. It's like, okay, they not just pushing you to the side because, you had a minor setback. And then they were like, well, is he going to have film for senior year? Things like that. Minor setback for a major comeback. He came back and did his thing. And, for those schools that stayed, those were how we pretty much based it off of. For us, it wasn't the beginning of who was on him early on since 8th and 9th grade.
I don't know how we lost Daniel. There he is.
I got kicked out for a second. I'm back.
Yeah.
But thank you, Miss Mickey, if you don't mind answering that question for us. Thank you.
Okay. So for us, I think some of the important factors I think would probably be similar to some of the other moms that have already probably discussed, like loyal, being transparent, who's telling my kid the truth, things like that. Jason was the first experience I went through with the recruiting process, and he was getting, offers at a young age. But for me, during that process, it was more so allowing him to choose where he was going to be happy, and being able to say like he made the choice, so whatever comes from that choice, like he has to stick to it, right? And then just going through that full process and watching all the relationships that were developed, broken, fake, real, it changed what my outlook was for the next one in terms of what we were looking for. And that's where it kind of turned into like, who's telling you the truth, who's actually going to be there when you check into school and stay there and be committed to developing you as an athlete, and where he would be safe, because I think some of these kids made decisions based on the relationships they bought into, and coaches, I feel like, just kind of disregarded them, those that just left up and left their programs with all these kids that, came and trusted and thought they were entering into something. And so trying to figure out who's real, and who's going to have, because our kids are leaving home, right? So we want to make
Right.
sure that they're kind of like in a safe environment that would kind of look out for them as close as possible to what mom, which I don't think that's equivalent, but as close as possible to what mom would look out for them as while they're away.
I have a follow-up question. Are anybody any single moms?
I wouldn't say single. I mean, I'm
Well,
divorced. Yeah, I'm
well,
divorced, but yeah.
So you were you on the recruiting trail more? Were both of you guys on?
Yeah,
this?
yeah, we definitely co-parent. We have 3 sons together, so we co-parent. So awkward, but okay.
No, the reason I asked is because I'm from, really in tune to the different approaches some of the coaches have with moms who they're on their own versus 2 parents. That's all I was going to ask it. With that,
I can answer that also, Duke.
I'm sorry.
I said I can answer that also.
Okay.
Because my husband passed. It'll be 11 years Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've navigated this whole process by myself.
So so do you feel like you were, approached differently, handled differently, like being a single parent? Because I feel like this, I know some of the coaches were kind of, not sleazy, but it was more I don't know. You
have to meet Eleanor.
Bad vibes.
I was about to say, not that one.
Huh?
Not that one.
No.
She set the tone, so she'll let us know.
The conversations just eavesdropping. The conversations sounded a little different. They were more fun and NIL like focused and just getting them kind of ramped up on that. So, I just want to hear somebody like actual perspective, on that.
Yeah, I'm probably was the wrong one to ask because I
He was
came
playing.
straight to tell them, look, I'm not the average football mom. I'm not a
Right,
damsel in distress. I
right.
know this stuff just like you.
Yeah,
Probably study it more than you do. So no.
Good stuff.
yeah, man, that's
We'll
good.
get you there, Eleanor. We'll get you
Huh?
there. We'll get you there. We'll get you there. Well, let's kind of touch on what the kind of title of the show is a little bit today. So one thing all you guys have in common, all you ladies have in common is your son has entered his college career as a mid-year. And so with that, I want to ask a couple questions and kind of go around the horn here and kind of let you guys, kind of go with it, and we're gonna keep you in your feelings and let you kind of, let it rain, however y'all want to do it, right? And so let's talk about that. Your son's being a mid-year. A couple things I want to touch on, right? What went into the decision to do that? What was the influence to push for your son to graduate early, to take care of his business, different than the rest of his crew, and get himself on to the next level. And when other people are thinking about going to prom and things like that, he's already entered college, right? And got into the program. What influenced you guys to do that? And along with that, since your son has done that, right? What have you guys noticed as mothers, that's different about your son as he's kind of went through this process now? He's been gone for a little bit of time. I know we're on a couple different classes here, but we can still relate to what it is we're talking about. Talk about what changes you've seen in your son. How has the communication changed, and how do you think that's been a benefit, watching your son transition from a teenager into now a young man who's in his first year of college?
Can I go first, because I do not have a mid-year kid, and I just want to say something.
Let's go ahead and let's let you answer the question first, Miss Ebony. Go ahead.
Okay, because I just want to say, because my son came out last May,
right,
and he's in class 2024, and so I just want to say the difference. I see the difference of the kids who started in January versus the ones who came after they graduated, during the summer. Like, there's a total difference. Like, my kid is a totally different person right now than if I can totally tell he would have been a different player if he would have started in January. So I just wanted to get that out of the way, since I'm probably the only one who had a summer enrollee.
Well, thank you for that, ma'am. And let's start this one in a different direction. Let's go ahead and start this one off, Ms. Dietrich this time, please.
So for me, Devin knew early on that he wanted to leave early. So he put in the work. He did night school. He did summer school. So when he focused and said that that's what he wanted, all we did was support him. We made sure that he was where he needed to be and was doing what he was supposed to be doing. So that was our main focus. And watching him within the last almost 7 months, I've probably seen Devin maybe 3 times, and he's not the same kid I dropped off on January the 6th. I've watched him gain weight. I've watched him mature. We have conversations that I have to pull stuff out of him to get him to say certain things, because he's really just not a talker. He sits up under me. He's real close to me, but he doesn't say much. But now he's talking, and I watched him grow. And I know that him being there in January has definitely set the tone for what he wants and what he's going to go get. So I'm very proud of him, and to know that I watched my son kind of grow up within 7 months, living on his own, doing his own grocery shopping. Now he does call and ask me where things are in the grocery store, but for the most part, I've watched him mature very quickly, watched him get a 4.3 GPA in just his first semester. So being there in January, I would definitely tell every parent, if they can do it, definitely push their kids to do it. It's definitely worth it. Being a part of the program, being a part of the strength program, strength and conditioning has really changed my son Ohio State. And I also know that a lot of the things that has happened for him, that happened at North Shore, prepared him for what is going on at Ohio State. So I'm very proud of the decision that he made to move forward with leaving school early.
Well, good stuff. Let's keep the Ohio State love rolling. Let's go ahead, Miss Juliet.
Okay, so I think Riley must have made the decision, I think, in 8th or 9th grade. I really didn't know anything about graduating early and early enrollment. So he had apparently made this decision and was moving along as such. He didn't have to do summer school or night school, but he was able to finish early successfully and didn't really talk much about it. I think because he tended to like be more with the upperclassmen anyway. He was just trying to move along so he could get going. Like he had more friends that were in the class of 24 than in his own class. And I don't know, kind of similar to he'd been working out and training at this facility for 3 months. And I really didn't know because he didn't even drive. Riley's still 17. And so I get a call one day from a trainer. He's like, "Do you mind paying me? Riley's been coming here for 3 months." He never asked us to drop him off. He never asked us to help him find the trainer. It was just kind of something he had decided and pursued and was doing already. So similar to that, he did the same thing with his schoolwork so he could, finish early. And Riley probably would have reclassed early if he could have. But this was I think a good way, for him to kind of stay behind. He had two cousins that, came to the school the next year and played alongside him. And as far as his transition, at Ohio State, you're not required to live on campus as a freshman in early enrollee football player. And so, and he's still 17. He's him living off campus has been very interesting to watch him try to navigate things that, kids don't learn anymore at school. There's no more home economics. Like he has to learn, like I need to set up bill pay and things like that. And he's, texting me his receipts from Costco because he's proud that he went, shopping and, kind of meal planned outside of what he eats at the Woody. But as far as his, focus on, the physical part of it and adjusting to the new workouts and all of that, like he is very different. And you sometimes you don't realize because you're just on FaceTime, but then when you get to see them in person, it's like, okay, like you are different. Like, and the last time he was here, he was working out with the Cowboys linebacker, Micah Parsons, and he looked as big as Micah Parsons. And I was like, whoa, like what? This is crazy. It looked crazy, like watching them running alongside each other and competing. And so I think, some of that is that good old Texas football, setting the standard to be prepared for those types of transitions to big power, programs. And then some of it is just, how your kid is built. And Riley's more like, I think as long as I can focus on football and compete and train and do those things, like he's good. And he did have a good first semester. So I was really proud of that. He's taking classes this semester. And, he's just ready to get all the things like downloaded so he can kind of just cruise into the fall camp time. So
it's good stuff. Thank you, ma'am. Let's go to Miss Ebony. Who's at the top here, top corner.
So for Christopher, he has started this journey early on in his I want to say his sophomore year, where like I said, I've been on this journey before, but this one was quite different. He's a different kid. So I'm like, you're going to do it my way. This way work for your brothers. I know this. This is what we're going to do. Next thing you know, we're at Trillion Boards where most of us ladies met. So he started navigating himself through his sophomore year at a school that he first attended. And the staff was leaving and a lot of the seniors and juniors were gone. And he's like, Mom, I want something else. This school is not going to work for me. So my antennas went up. I'm like, okay, what we got to do, He's like, Mom, this program is not working for me. So I said, okay, well, so I did my work, and he ended up at another high school. And from there, he has been his own driver of his journey, and I've just been the passenger to it. So he's had great judgment so far. And I just fell back and was his co-pilot and made sure that he got what he was searching for him to get to that next level. And now that he graduated early, of course, went in January. And he was like, Mom, I don't even want to come back to graduate. You know what I mean? He felt like he was a grown man at this point. I'm like, no, you got to come back and do it the right way. Come back. And he finished strong, over a 3.0 for his first semester there at University of Washington. He opted out to have his own apartment going in, and he was in the dorms. I would have did it different if I knew that he had to move out June 14th. So I'm like, well, we should have got an apartment from the beginning, but that was his choice, that he wanted to, stack his money, save his money, and, live off of the school. And so now I have to go back down there and help him set up his apartment. And I'm like, I'm dealing with your little brother with these football camps, and I can't make it out there to go furniture shop. And I was like, look, you better order a mattress, an air mattress until I get there. You got to thug it out, So he's excited about being in his own place right now. And we were shopping online for furniture, and I just want your opinion. And I'm like, I'll pick something. Well, I want to get this one. Okay. I'm just a passenger on his journey. And I'm telling you, it has enlightened me so much to where this is my 5. So I'm 5 out of 5 D1s, guys.
Wow,
5 out of
awesome.
5. So, thank you. This journey right here has opened my horizon to like up here, it's just been wonderful to be Christopher's mother right now. I'm very proud of that, his father and I. So yeah.
Before we move on to the other ladies, Melo's going to jump in real quick and just kind of read off some of the super chats.
Hey, how you guys doing? So I just want to read a couple of super chats. First up, I have Lucia Channels, and she just wanted to say, moms are strong. It's so hard to send your child off into the world. I agree with that. And then the next super chat is from our very own Devin. And Dev says, thank y'all so much for doing this show. It's fire. What's one piece of advice you would give parents going through the process now? Sorry, but I have to. OH.
We'll get back to
Sorry, IO.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's so crazy.
That is.
Yeah. We're on a whole nother level today, bro. Whole nother level. But let's kind of continue on with it, guys. Let's go to Miss Eleanor right over in the corner.
Repeat the last question, because I got caught up into
You're good.
The last part just then.
So just kind of what prompted you to kind of push Andrew to kind of move on to this mid-year thing, and what kind of changes have you seen in him? Anything positive, negative? Just how are you feeling about the whole process of him? Just moving on to the whole mid-year thing, being here today, and gone tomorrow.
Well, I would say middle school is where it first started, because in middle school, he opted to take a couple of high school credit courses. So he pretty much knew from one of my neighbors that's a couple of years older than he is, was what he was going through going to school during the regular admission period. So Andrew said he wanted to get a head start. So in middle school, he went ahead and took all of his foreign languages to get ahead. And then during COVID, because we were during COVID time as well, he elected to do some online classes as well to get ahead. So he wanted to reclass, but because he have a twin sister, she said it was their time, so she wouldn't let him reclass. So he pretty much had to just stay in high school and take one class just so that he could still be a 25. Um, so it was good. The benefit that I think I saw and I still see is the growth in him. Um, like you guys seen, he has put on weight. I'm looking at my kid, bigger than when he left home. Um, he's independent. He's living on his own. So I'm enjoying that, um, to see that, and I'm seeing him being responsible. So I like that part in him, and then also with the whole NIL, because of course myself and he had siblings that also played collegiate sports. We didn't receive NIL, so for him to be responsible with that, and I see the way he's handling that. It's been really good to see that part, that growth in him.
Thank you, ma'am. Miss Shy.
Yes. So, like Ebony was saying about Chris, Jaden pretty much headed, our vessel as well as far as wanting to move on early. So, I've never had to worry about this kid, his judgment. Like he's always been an old soul. Entire family will tell you that. Just super laid back kid, and I couldn't be more grateful. Him and my oldest son are totally different. So thank you, Jesus, for this one. As far as not jumping the gun to do things so fast, and school. Both of them really good in school, 4.0 kids, things like that. But I mean, as far as really thinking about what he's going to do before he actually does it, and making sure he did his homework on this. So he, like I said, he knew early on that this is what he wanted to do, graduate early. He came to me about it, and I was like, wait, what? No, you got to do this. You got to graduate senior prom. Like, you doing all the senior stuff. He was like, Mom, but I want to get there because I need to get in that playbook. And that's what he kept saying. I need to get in that playbook. And that's what he wanted to do. So I'm like, okay, well, how do we do this? So I need to talk to a counselor. So then I started reaching out. We have, he has cousins that played at the collegiate level, and for football, track and field, things like that. A couple went on to the league. So just talking to them about how it'll translate for him, which was new to me because I'm like, we didn't get to do that. We didn't get to go early. So he took his summer school courses, the necessary college courses as well at the college here. He did that. But as far as him leaving, I knew he would be okay because, like I said, Jaden has always been very responsible, always a good, you know, always had good judgment. He knows if something ain't feeling right, he not doing it. He gonna back out, or he gonna tell somebody, "Hey, that ain't cool. Like I'm out of here. You coming with me, or you can stay." So I didn't have to worry about that. The thing that changed, what I thought was going to change for the worse, was our communication, and it didn't. It changed for the better. So instead of, he's home, so it's more phone calls. Now he FaceTime me every single time. And I was like, okay, I'm loving this because he's the baby. So now we're empty nesters. And it's like, I get to see him. And he's not just calling me. So, of course, that made my heart smile for him to do that. But he actually grew taller. And I was like, oh my gosh, wait a minute now. Like, I know he was taller than me, but really? And then he put on weight and muscle. It looks good on him, but I'm just looking at this kid like, oh my God, I had this little beanpole, which was a thing for his recruiting as well. They like, he nice, but this kid gonna have to put on some weight at this position, and he's done that. What else? He just having issues there because, of course, his mom is not cooking. So I tried to teach him Well, I was teaching him, throughout these last 2 years, like, let me show you how to make this and let me show you how to make that, because at least you know how to make your own chicken Alfredo or your spaghetti, just, some things to kind of hold you over, even though the school feeds them and they can go out and eat. Sometimes you want that home cooked meal. So that was different. He's being responsible, like with the NIL stuff. So that's good as well. A funny story. So I told him he was coming back for that senior prom because I was not letting him out of that. So we were in LA. We got his tux. We brought it home. We got it all tailored. Came home for senior prom. He couldn't get his arm with it.
Wow.
I was
Wow.
like, oh my gosh, what are we gonna do? So we made it work. He was like, Mom, I'm not gonna be able to lift my arms up and do this and do that. That was funny because again, he had put on even more weight since then. So it was
That's
crazy, just seeing, their physical being of their bodies changing,
Yeah.
coming, being these young men now. So it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, I'd say Miss Mickey dropped off right at the wrong time, so we'll kind of jump into the next question here, if we don't mind. So, as we kind of go along with this thing, we're gonna kind of get a little bit messier, probably, if you want to look at it that way. But
Hey, before you start talking, Daniel, can I say something really quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I want to say a lot of people don't know this. Like, I believe Ebony mentioned it, how a lot of us came together. So I want to
Right.
give a shout. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Philip Bell. His mom passed away last year, and she put together this group. And this is how we've all become connected. We have a little group. We call ourselves the D1 Moms, and we are dedicating this to her. She was a phenomenal person. And of course, Eleanor and I both are here in Houston, but the rest of the ladies, we're all over the country, but we all come together. We text all the time in our group. We check on one another, check on our boys. So I just want to let everyone know that we're supporting each other because of Samantha, and for her, rest in peace.
Great stuff.
Yes,
Anybody else?
we
Anybody else?
family.
Anybody else want to add to it? Go right ahead.
Yeah, so I probably was the first one to meet Sammy because Jaden and Phil have been playing together since middle school. And it was crazy how um, she kept on saying, like, we need a group, we need a group. And she's been saying this for a long time, and we just never did it. And then we start meeting other parents. And I met Deetra first, and Sammy wasn't there. And we started talking. It was a Trillion Boy 707. No, it wasn't even 707. They just brought us down and just showed us around a good time. But then she kept on saying, Shy, sis, I got to introduce you to these other parents. Like, they boys some ballers. What I loved about Sammy is that any opportunity that she saw or any opportunity that even Phil had, but that she knew your child would be great at too, she never ever kept that to herself. Like, she was such a good person. She would always call me and say, Shy, I got something for my nephew. I'm going to have these people call you. And it just, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. This is hard.
No, it's thank you.
I was probably the last one to be added to the group, and it was because of Sammy. And it was crazy because we got even closer. Each trip Phil went on, Christopher was there. So all our official visits were together. And they were off the chain. I mean, they were fun, running up these folks' tabs.
We're not trying to incriminate nobody now.
No. On our OVs, it's paid for. So yeah, it's all legit.
And the Trillion Boys.
It's the truth, right? So she made sure that she was a light to our group, and she still is. So I like to shout out to her, and say how proud I am too of Philip, because he's on this journey and he's doing a hell of a job navigating through this thing. You know, I mean, that kid is something special, you know, and because he has an angel of a mother like that, he's going to do great things. Shout out to Sammy.
Great stuff. Great stuff. So you know, again, so we're not trying to. It wasn't just a random thing here. You know, with the ladies that we have on tonight. You know these ladies have a they have a bond, and that's why we asked them to be here tonight and just kind of again just kind of give you that look into the other side of things, just not just Duke and I just always just kind of giving our end of it. So, but let's kind of lighten up the thing a little bit, but we're still going to kind of keep things in a certain direction. Again, I want to talk about, a little bit more about moms and what they're doing, right? We got moms that are, really moved on and done like things on the professional side, right? And so it kind of pushes me into the next subject of really what I want to get into. But I do want to get you guys' opinion on ladies like, ladies like Heather Van Norman, who are representing their sons, like Felicia Jones, who represents her son, Lamar Jackson, and another lady who we're going to kind of touch on a little bit more, Miss Regina Jackson, who doesn't represent her son, Jaden Daniels, but she's, kind of moved on into the professional side of things, and she's now become a certified agent. And so I do want to ask you ladies just real quick, what do you think about, the mom who's decided to kind of move on and do things more of the professional side of things for her son that's an athlete? And let's go ahead and start off with Ms. Shah. Go ahead, Ms. Shah.
I actually think it's a great thing because I know, especially the mothers who have that real special bond with their sons, that they want the best for them. They don't want anybody to get over on them. They want to make sure everything is everything, like whatever they say that it's going to be. So I applaud them, and I think that's great that more mothers are getting involved with that, and to look out for their son and have their best interests at heart. I feel like there have been some things that's happened in the past with parents and their sons at that next level, but for the ones that's there for the right reason, absolutely.
Good stuff. Ms. Juliet, go ahead, ma'am.
Yeah, I too, I agree that it's just great seeing so many women and women of color and mothers like really helping these young athletes navigate these spaces, whether it's with their NIL contracts or their, NFL professional, contracts and deals. And I think it is because there is just an undisputable level of trust in the way that, mothers are able to manage, multitask, stay on top of things, vet, opportunities and really see through and see like 4 steps ahead of like what's to come or what could potentially be on the way. I know like for me, because as offers started coming in with Riley, like I had for myself, I had to get more organized. And the first thing I did was create an Excel spreadsheet. Like, here's the school, here's the conference, here's the coach, here's the position coach. Like, this is who he's talked to. And I wanted to like really like up, like you kind of get myself like up to speed without having to ask, Duke a question or, always ask questions like, who'd you talk to? And I think, mothers are just really good and women in general are just some of the best at when it at, managing multiple things at the same time. I mean, we project manage 4 or 5 different things for multiple kids and it's nothing. And you still go to work and then you still like come home and, make meals and see about the other people in your family. And so I think it only makes sense to see more mothers and women taking a prominent role in navigating their son's success and their contract opportunities and NIL opportunities.
Great stuff. Miss Eleanor, I think you got something to say about this subject.
Yeah, I am. I think it's awesome um, for mothers to be involved, for parents to be involved, period, because I truly believe that those are the ones first that's going to have their kids' best interest at heart, whether it's the mom, the dad, big brother, or sister. They're going to have their best interest at first, and it's not going to be how it's going to benefit them, but benefit their kid. So for me, um, I took a I took that part. Um, kind of I got this because I negotiate contracts all day for in the medical field. I can negotiate contracts for my son, and then the second part of that is that I am involved with football. I got so involved to where I started repping because this is something that he does, and I want to know the sport. So I learned to get out on the field and ref football. So that was important to learn that and to be able to navigate and have conversation with coaches and knew if they were just giving me some BS and to be able to approach my son and knowing what he wants and to try to help figure out. But I think that's good for parents to be involved.
Dietrich, what's your thoughts on it?
Well, you know how I feel about it. No one can navigate through this for my son like I can. No one can um, advocate for him better than I can. The one thing about me is I say what I mean and I mean what I say, and everyone knows that. So the one thing that I do like about Miss Daniels is she protects her son, and we put so much into our boys, and we want so much for them. Sometimes they lose sight of the things that are harmful to them. So we're on the outside looking in, and they're in it. So we're able to see all the negative things that are happening around them. So the things that he doesn't see, I'm glad that I'm there, and he respects us enough to take our opinions, and not even just as opinions, but be very mindful that my mom wouldn't be telling me this if it wasn't fact. I'm going to be honest all the time. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything with them. I don't play those games, and he knows that. So he knows that he can come to me and ask me anything and get a straightforward answer. So I'm not going to sit across the table from anyone and allow them to tell me something about my son, or and they barely know him. So that's why a lot of times, even now, he'll say, "I'm focused on school and football. Anything outside of that, speak to my parents." So he's made it up in his mind that he's not distracted by anything else, and he's allowing us to navigate that aspect of his life, and he's trusting that with mom and dad. So I am appreciative of that because I've learned so much about myself. I've learned so much about people. And I know that there are a lot of people out here that don't, they say they care, but they really don't. And the one thing about me is that I know you don't, and I'll let you know I know you don't. So we won't have a problem. So we've made it, we've gotten through this. Daniel is more, he's quiet. He's a silent killer. I come right at you. He's gonna get you from the side. I'm coming straight forward. So we work very well together, and he knows that my boys, my kids are everything to me. So I would never allow anyone to misrepresent them or um, speak down on them. So I'm all for what moms do for their kids because we pour so much into them. We want them to be successful, and we're not going to allow anyone to step in and destroy that with just a blink of an eye, and it can happen. So I'm just glad that, speaking to all the ladies that I do talk to, all the women on this panel, we have all come to the conclusion that our boys, believe in what we say and they trust us. So I'm glad that they use that and they come to us when they do need us. So I'm all for it. Maybe I need to take some classes so that I can, read some contracts. Eleanor.
No, no, that's a great answer. And it leads me to this question. Because you see a lot, about Jaden Daniels' mom, uh, being in his, in his social life, they make it seem like she's interfering with,
Yeah, I
his
don't think it's that
relationship and
serious.
everything.
Right.
And no, it's not. So I wanted, we wanted to get your thoughts on, like what are your concerns when it comes to your, to your boys and the opposite sex? And do you think, there is a line between, protection and overprotection? We'll start with Juliet.
Wow. I was like, don't even ask me this question.
No. This
Why?
what we want to get to. This stuff. This what we want to hear.
Really?
Oh Lord. Okay, so I think that until you are married, like trying to have relationships in college is really challenging. I mean, that's what I'm gonna say. I went to college. I had a little boyfriend in Indiana. I got down to Florida A&M. I forgot his name the first week. It's fine. He may have forgot my name too. But I think now that we have like social media, we have all these ways, and kids are so different now. Kids are so different now. They see each other's location all the time. I don't know if you guys have watched that show on Netflix, like the Forever Show. I know it was like very eye-opening for some people. I saw a little bit of it. I think for now, at least for where my child is, I think the focus just has to be school and football first. And then I want him to also have a healthy social life. So I think it's tough when you're, trying to have a girlfriend and be in like some committed relationship at such a young age. That's my opinion. Now, I know people who have like been high school, like, and they make it work. I think it's harder to do that in this day and age. I must shut up.
Look, let me go.
We met in college and we're still together.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, but I think now it's different
time.
because
It's
I mean,
different.
it's just such
Yeah,
a
that's
different
true.
time.
Different.
It's such a different time. You see how many followers your kid has, and like you probably don't even see like all the Snap stuff and the tick, and it's just like it's so different. There's so many
It's different.
people who know who they are, and like
Right.
before they've even taken a snap on a college field yet, and it's
Yeah.
just very different. And I
Yeah.
don't want, I'm just going to speak for my son. I don't want him to miss out because he's worried about, hurting just one person's feelings,
Yeah.
and then leaving himself like out of the experience of college. And I know he's there to be, a student athlete. And I think part of being a student athlete is experiencing college. Like you get to be there in college, and I want you to have some college experience and social life outside of just your normal, football, home, class, online, workout. I want him to be able to experience that. So I hope he doesn't watch this.
No, but I'm gonna ask it a little rougher than Duke just did. He put it a little sweeter than I would have put it, right? And
Sorry,
so,
Daniel. Hold on. So some people are having technical issues. I just wanted to let you know. Shy says she's having issues as well. So just heads up.
I'll get with Mello here a second. But again, I kind of just want to ask a little, the real way, because I mean it is what it is, and so I really want to know. I mean what do you got? What how are moms dealing with this stuff today? When you and I'm not giving any information out.
Yes, you are.
But when you got young ladies who come at these young men certain kinds of ways, right? and their expectations are higher than normal. Let's just put it mildly. And you know, you got guys, you know, well, mutual parties, right? That want to be flown out and things like that, right? And that's what we're talking about, things being different. That's where we're at today, right? And so and so I, you know, again, I just want to know, you know, how is moms, you know, because this is typically a dad subject, right? And again, we're pushing on the other side. How are you guys dealing with that kind of stuff? You know, how are those
I can answer that.
Yes, Ebony, you
I
answer
can
that.
answer it.
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
I have 3 sons, and I want to proclaim that I'm a Christian, and of course, I want my kids to be abstinent and be married. But I have kept it 110% real since they started puberty. So Noah is my middle son, but my oldest son, I supply them with condoms. I have conversations. I showed them STDs. I know that they are these girls. I live in Arizona. They have gone to, you know, Phoenix. They're around, you know, a majority type of girls that chase. I should say that. I'm trying to be okay. So, but I have kept it 100%. Like I tell them, every girl, if you want to raw dog it, son, you're either going to have a baby or you're going to have an STD. So you're going to make that decision. You're going to ruin your life. I was a teen parent with their dad. And so it's been a struggle. They were raised with, you know, mom and dad. I'm a social worker. Dad's a teacher. Like we have struggled. So are you going to make this life-changing decision for a 5-minute pleasure to either make a different impact on your life when you can have a whole different life? But that 5 minutes, those 5 minutes, is it that important to have a baby or an STD? Every conversation. I supply condoms on the way to the trip. I give them to him when he comes. When I go visit, I make sure that they are strapped up, and I keep it 100% real because I am not trying to be a grandma right now because I was already a young parent. So I'm that mom who is probably out the box and tells them how it is. So, but of course, I pray to God they were virgins and they get married to some girl. But reality is, this world is not. The devil is a liar. So he's after these boys and not my kids. I'm not going to be a grandma. Hopefully.
For me,
that's pretty real, right there.
We've been kind of. Daniel's kind of always said I'm kind of raw with things that I say to my boys. I shouldn't say certain things, but I feel like if I don't say it, or if I don't ask, I don't know. So I'd rather us have that conversation, and you know, like you said, let's speak about. We know abstinence is not reality, so let's talk about being, you know, truthful with our boys and the way things happen, the way these girls are, you know, moving. They're doing things differently, and they are asking to be flown out. They are asking these boys because they're watching them on social media. They are asking them, "Hey, I can come if you pay for the ticket." My son, I said, "Well, first thing you ask her is, when was the last time she flew herself somewhere? When was the last time she took herself to that restaurant that she's asking you to take her to?" If she can't answer that and say, "Oh, I took myself there last week," then no, we're going to McDonald's, or no, we're going to go Chick-fil-A. We're going to go where you last took yourself to. So those are the conversations that I have with my son.
I like that. That's good.
I will
and then you're on allowance. You can't ask for anything without asking me for it. So we've established that.
There you go.
So for me,
I'm so sorry. I just wanted, but one thing that just comes to mind is like the surprise that I have in like mothers of young ladies who are literally pushing
encouraging
them
it
to. And it used to just be one type of mom, and now I'm like, oh, it's these types of moms as well. I'm like, what is happening? That's kind of disappointing. That's all I was gonna say.
They're grooming their girls for our boys.
The grooming is crazy. And I mean, we have a daughter, you know, some of you have daughters, and I'm like, I can't even imagine encouraging our daughter to be like, yes, go see him at school. No, like that. I mean, that would never, ever, ever, ever happen. It would be so crazy. So I don't know. It's just like I'm just surprised that again, things are so different now. That's all. I'm sorry, Ebony.
Eleanor has a story.
Yeah. So me, straight up, they're a distraction.
They are.
To the whole program. To my program that I've worked so hard for you to come in and try to, no, I'm not having it. I'm not having it. But I will say that he has older brothers, so he gets to talk from me. He gets to talk from his dad. He gets it. He's seen one thing about our family blueprint in this is that Christopher has seen every way that this can possibly go. One of his brothers was a teenage dad his senior year of high school. Hey, son, we had this talk. This is your decision. But I'll tell you what. You keep pressing forward, doing what you have to do to get your education. You have a dream. Now you have a dream with a baby in it out of high school. So I tell you what. Keep pursuing your dreams. And the moment you stop, you'll be buying your first pack of diapers. And he's playing right now in the playoffs for the arena football. He's been full throttle, So Christopher has seen it every way possible with girls coming, after his older brothers, And everybody on this panel, we all got good looking, fine sons, right? So now you put the face with an athlete with the money that's attached to him, all this stuff, they're coming. But what I tell Christopher, try dating an athlete, somebody who is just as tied up as you, somebody who has something to lose. Go date a girl playing basketball. Go date a girl on the volleyball team, soccer, whatever. Date someone of your caliber who has something to lose, just like you. If you're gonna date an athlete in college.
That's great stuff. Great stuff.
That Texas A&M softball pitcher, man, I've been looking for her.
Go there, and that way you'll have something in common. You know what I mean? She's her priorities in order. Like I said, she has something to lose as well as you do. So therefore, go after the athlete girls.
Man,
I want to add something
about that stock.
So with Jaden, I've had two situations where these girls, like Jaden, but I felt like the moms like them more.
Come on now.
Like, this is strange. Like, why is this girl mama doing X, Y, and Z? Why is her mama not? Oh yeah, Jaden this. I'm like, this is strange. I said, Jay, you don't think this is weird? Like, how would you feel if I was that mama doing that? You would feel some type of way. This ain't right and it's not okay. I said, so what we gonna do is we cutting them off. Like, we're not doing this. Because why is the mom more excited, more, I couldn't believe it.
I could reiterate on that. My older son, he went to college. He found an athlete with a mom who was involved. So, they got into it, and we're figuring things out, college relationships. And, she just was all in the mix, the mom. So I'm like, hold up. My son not dating you. I'd be damned if he dates you and your daughter. You know what I mean? So, they, ladies, dads, they coming. And I'm ready.
Yeah.
Right, all of it.
Mm-hmm. You heard it here first. That just like the 1st and the 15th, it's coming. So as we kind of get ready to wrap things up here, and again, I want to thank each and every one of you ladies for taking the time out on a Friday night to do this, and kind of what we were kind of getting to in this whole ball of wax as we kind of got through this, and we're kind of at that point now, and we're at that point where we kind of done turned up things a little bit, and we kind of speaking a little bit more freely, and we kind of letting words just kind of come out, and we're saying what we want to say. So I'm gonna ask, as we kind of get ready, and we're gonna let Duke ask his last question for the night here. But as we kind of get to that, right, I kind of want to put you in the mindset of when we're talking about ladies like Regina Jackson and kind of some of the things that we just kind of touched on right now. A lot of people would say that we got moms who are out there doing too much when it comes to their kids and just how they're involved in their lives, and we stunting growth, and we not letting that man be a man, and we just not doing those things, right? And so again, I kind of want to touch on those things again as we kind of get to this last question of the night. And I think this one is going to be a special one, because I think this one's really going to hit as we kind of, we just real quick here as we kind of get ready to wrap this thing up for the night. I want to get everybody's opinion as we're talking about moms who are being too involved, or maybe moms who are not involved enough in certain instances, right? So this is the last one for the night here, ladies. And I just want to get your opinion on it. Go ahead, Doug.
All right. So Travis Hunter in the news. So do you believe Travis Hunter made a mistake not getting a prenup?
Of course he did. Of course he did.
Absolutely. Yes. Hell yeah.
It's no disrespect to the young lady. And he also has to recognize that he still has to protect himself. Some of us that have been married, we know things happen. People go through things. So being that he is this $1 million kid, he is a kid. Even though he's doing adult things, he's still a young man. That someone has, I'm sure they've tried to sit down and speak to him about protecting himself and his assets. No one's saying don't take care of your wife. No one's saying don't allow her to live this luxurious life as well. But things happen, and if there's nothing if she's not out for that, she should have no reason with signing something that says, hey, if we don't work out, I can walk away with what I came with, or hey, if we have kids, take care of the kids. But there shouldn't be that when you walk away, and it could get messy. Who knows what'll happen in years to come? Now you lose half, or whatever it is she goes after. She may not take anything. We don't know, but he still needs to protect himself. And if she has a problem with it, I don't know the conversations they've had. I hope that someone is able to sit down with him and maybe, knock some sense into his head.
Too late now.
Too late.
Post-nup.
You could do a post-nup.
Yeah. But what about just being devil's advocate on that part? What if it's a long relationship? They've been together since middle school, right? And
doesn't
so
matter.
She basically became part of the family.
She never played a down of football. She never earned a dime. She never earned any of the money that he's earned. That's still his money. I will still take care of you, but he's the one that's putting his life on the line every day he steps out on that field. So again, they could have been born together. They could have been raised as toddlers. I wouldn't care. My son is still going to protect himself.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I just think that half is crazy. And they're so young. They're so young. If even just put something in writing. Hey, you walk away with this.
Right.
This amount of dollar. You still good. We good. But half and maybe even more than half is crazy.
Yeah, any genuine person that's there for the right reasons, like Deetra said, would not have a problem with signing anything that says, hey, we're done. This is what it is. Like any genuine person would sign it with no problem. If that's what you truly feel in your heart and you love this man for that, even though he wasn't that type at first. Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
I agree. It's almost like a conversation I had with someone earlier today. and we were talking about prenups. I said through the whole process from Little League, there was not a girlfriend, a wife, brother. Nobody was going washing uniforms 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning when we're doing Little League camps.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody was running up and down the road when I know for myself and Andrew, he sleep in the back of the truck and I'm driving us from one state to the next. There was nobody else doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I wanted him to be responsible because I've always told him the 3 things for him in life. He's a leader, a provider, and a protector. And that is what he's supposed to do. But also, you're not a fool.
Right.
So you're not just giving everything away. And I'm not going to stand on the sideline and say, okay, yeah, you're his wife now. You deserve to have all of this. Nope. You're going to sign something before you said I do.
Right.
And you're going to sign after the second contract. Get married after the second contract.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? That's
Not the rookie one, that L.
Nope.
Not at all. Not at all.
Man, tell you what, this has been something tonight. This has been special. This has definitely been different than what Duke and I usually been doing.
Right. Right. I like it though. I like it.
Man, I love it, man.
We could probably go on for another hour or two.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we really could. We really could.
Cut a few questions short.
Yeah, again, you know, we really appreciate you ladies doing this again for us. You know, we've always tried to, you know, just give that look again, you know, from that parent side, just trying to be as honest as we possibly can, and letting people just understand that, you know, with these athletes that they see every day, there's always people behind them that love them, and these people are real. That's when, you know, one thing we've always said on this Pops Pod thing. But before we let everybody go tonight, we want to have one little quick little thing. We want to kind of end on a fun note. We've done this thing a couple times here now. First one didn't go so well. The last one went pretty good, and I think this was going to go pretty good this time. I think Duke, you'll think this probably as well.
No.
We're gonna call this segment off the top, and we're gonna spit these answers out real quick.
Right.
We just rapid fire. We're gonna go around the horn. Each lady's gonna give us a one question answer. One answer off of these questions that we're gonna give you is just gonna be either or, and just kind of, you know, shoot it off the top like it kind of goes.
Okay.
And Duke will kind of start you off on the first one, and we'll go around the horn, and we'll start with Miss Ebony in the top, and then we'll go around to Miss Eleanor and around the horn, and we'll end with Miss Juliet if we don't mind.
All right. We're gonna start with home games or away games.
Shoots. That's a good one. I'm home.
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 Go ahead, Eleanor.
Day games, night games.
Hold on. We can give everybody a chance to shoot that. Let them all answer that. Duke.
Home.
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 Okay. We'll move on to the next one. All right. Real
That
quick.
LSU game was lit, though. That LSU was lit. We lanked on them.
Here's where I'm going. Here's where I'm going with it right now. I'm going there right now. We're going to go day games or night games. Which one we prefer, Mom? Dietrich, go ahead.
Night games.
Keep it going. Keep it going.
Night.
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 Good deal.
All right. Here we go. First one to chime in. Your son's jersey or the team hoodie or t-shirt?
Son.
Yeah.
Son.
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 Sons.
Okay.
Okay. Pretty much jersey all the way around, huh?
Yeah.
All right. So just real quick. So even though we're playing different positions, which one do we like better? We like offense better or defense better?
Offense.
Defense.
Defense.
Defense wins championships.
All right.
Defense wins championships.
That's a good
Either
one.
way,
Good.
I've
either
always
way,
been a defense girl, so we defense.
That's
either
good.
way, my boy's gonna make it happen. They're a two-way player.
Change
Either
it
way.
up a little bit. Change it up a little
That
bit.
part.
Hit him with the change up, dude.
Barbecue or crawfish boil?
I'm gonna have to say barbecue because everybody can't do no damn crawfish.
There you go.
Okay.
I'm gonna say crawfish because everybody can't season meat, and I can put seasoning on crawfish. You can't eat unseasoned meat, so I'll pass on the barbecue.
All right.
Seafood.
Seafood.
So we just going off with okay.
Crawfish.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah,
I have a new allergy to shellfish, but I would have said crawfish.
Yeah, I guess that does qualify as seafood because I don't want to touch it either. All right, so let's move on. So when we're eating, are we cooking at home or are we eating out?
Home.
Home. We cooking at home.
Out.
It's too many of us.
Out
It's 5
more
of us.
lately.
So
Somebody tell the truth. Talk about they eating out.
Out more now, I think.
My boys prefer home, so they picky. Who cooked this? Who cooked that? So it's home. I'm always in the kitchen.
My ex-husband's a better cook than me. So.
For my brunch ladies, what we going with? Mimosas or margaritas?
Margarita.
Margarita.
Sam.
Margarita.
Blue Moon.
Margarita.
Passion fruit margarita.
I'm a beer drinker.
Fresh passion.
That's interesting. Okay. So
Abby said I'm a beer drinker.
I'm a beer drinker. Neither one of them.
So we're gonna move on to brands, and it, you know, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm just assuming that we all know these brands. So we're gonna go a little bit trendier now with a little bit more modern stuff today. So we're gonna go between Lululemon or Aloe. Which one are we rocking?
Lulu.
Neither.
Lulu. I don't know.
Neither.
Neither.
Wow. That's a dud, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take me to the academy.
Okay. There we go. Okay.
Let's go to Dick's.
Well, I didn't want to hit y'all with the Walmart or Target, but since we go with Walmart or Target.
This year, Walmart.
I'm going to Walmart.
This year, Walmart.
Last year, Target.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I'm gonna every time I go to a new city, I have to find Walmart. I don't care where we are, I'm gonna find a Walmart.
Yes.
All right, so let's go. So for vacations, destination or cruise?
Destination. I've never been on a cruise.
I've never been on a cruise.
That's hard.
So
Two cruises in 30 days.
That's
Deidre,
hard.
Wow.
Deidre, which one would you pick?
Destination. She ain't getting on no ship.
You froze.
I'll have to say cruise.
She's
because-
muted. She's muted.
Yeah, she's muted. We can't hear you, Deidre. You're muted.
There you go.
I like both, but I don't want to leave the country. I'm a little nervous about the way things are going on in this country. So I think I'll probably say I'm staying in the United States. So if I have to leave, I'm not going.
That's funny. That is funny. Okay, so we're gonna hit you with it. This one might be a dud too, but I threw this one in. We're gonna see if anybody catches on. All right, so we're gonna watch Real Housewives of Atlanta or Real Housewives of Potomac. Which one we watching?
None of it.
Neither.
None of it.
We creating our own, ladies. That was on the map to do, right? The real
That part, that would be dope.
creating our own.
All right.
Real Housewives with D1.
Real football moms.
D1 moms, yes.
That would be dope.
Real moms.
That worked out to be a great personal question for me, but we'll talk about that another time.
See?
Which one?
Oh my goodness. Can you see what happens in your house is supposed to stay in your house?
There we go. There we go.
They can follow us around on game day, though. That'll be cool.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Daniel.
Popular shows. Might be another dud. We throwing them out. Better show. We're gonna watch Power or we're gonna watch The Wire.
The Wire.
Oh, The Wire.
Power.
The Wire. Oh, The Wire.
I never seen either.
You haven't watched
I've never
TV?
seen The
You
Wire.
got some good viewing.
I don't watch TV.
See, we just
I
gave
would-
some great ideas.
I would say Power, but after Ghost left, I was done.
That's so was I.
I was done.
Same.
So was I. So was
Now I'm
I.
on BMF though.
Heard about him.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
I watch
BMF
ESPN.
is good.
It's good.
Is it?
It's good.
I've never watched either one of those either.
BMF is kind of going the way of Power though.
Yeah,
kinda-
now it is.
kinda losing
First
its steam.
seasons were good.
Yeah.
Better
And if you're
Denzel
from-
Washington movie. Better Denzel Washington movie. Training Day or American Gangster?
Ooh, American Gangster.
It's a good one.
Man, Training Day hit hard. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, that was good.
I'm gonna say American Gangster.
I don't think I've seen American Gangster.
Miss Ebony, we got to take you to the movie.
I'll do that.
Oh, we have to play Black Call Vote.
We go ahead
My
and
ADD, I have my ADD is too bad. I cannot sit down for 2 hours straight. No, it's not happening.
That's funny. That's funny. Last one of the night, ladies. We're going to hit you with a ladies movie. Okay. And ironically, a couple of the same ladies are in these two movies. Okay. And I'm going to assume, Miss Ebony, if you say you haven't seen these two, I don't know what we're going to do. Okay. So which ones are we watching? Are we watching Girls Trip or we going to watch Set It Off?
Girls Trip.
I'm gonna watch Set It Off.
D-Word Moms, we supposed to do our girls trip.
Girls trip.
Girls trip.
Girls trip.
I don't know why, but I just have a real feeling in my gut that Miss Ebony is not telling the truth. She has not seen one of these movies.
I've seen Set It Off. I don't think I've seen bits and pieces of Girls Trip, but not the whole movie.
As long as you say Set It Off, we're
Bits
good.
and pieces.
Yeah, I've seen bits and pieces. The funny pieces. The reels on like social media.
We're gonna make sure that you watch some movies, Ebony.
No, that's boring. I'd rather be out, hanging out.
That's funny.
Is it?
Good stuff, ladies. Again, I want to show my appreciation to you, ladies, taking the time out to do this with us. It was great. You guys have done exactly what I thought was the purpose of doing. Just taking the time out to show just your feelings and just giving us your heart. I really want to show my gratitude to you guys for doing that. I really do appreciate you guys doing that. Thank you very much.
Can I say something?
Yes, you can. Very much.
Really fast. As a lifelong Buckeye fan, when we play you guys this year in the championship, just know I'm gonna be wearing my son's jersey, but I'm gonna be wearing something secretly Buckeyes because I love y'all, but I am now a Bama fan. But OH tied all day, y'all. Love y'all. Congratulations, Buckeyes, on our championship. Go Browns, go Buckeyes. All right, I'm done.
We love it. We love it.
Oh, heck no. So how you know that's going to be the championship?
Oh, no, you guys need to go on suspension. Y'all need to go on suspension.
You know y'all not going.
Suspended
You
season.
know y'all not going.
Y'all ain't going nowhere. It's the Bama and Buckeyes 2026. Let's go.
I like that.
That is funny.
26 is here.
That is
2026. Bama versus Buckeyes.
no. We
Sorry,
love it.
team up north.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, y'all out.
I look forward to meeting up with you guys when we play at home. When we play
Yes.
get together.
The chat, I love y'all. Yes.
Who's who has the son at Washington?
Ebony.
Ebony Lawson.
Ebony
got on
Lawson.
her
Okay,
purple.
yeah, my teammates, my former teammates' son, Justice Williams, the receiver.
Okay.
His dad's Roland Williams. Yeah, we played together at Syracuse.
Okay.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
What's up?
Good stuff. Mello.
So I just wanted to thank all the moms for being here, coming on the show. I like that D1 Moms pod. I mean, that sounds pretty fire. It seems like the chat think that's a popular idea. So that's something you ladies should actually discuss. I think you got something cooking right there. And whoever picked the Wire over Power, what is going on? Just because Ghost died, Power was still lit. So I'm sorry. Training day takes the cake. So that's my only 2 cents. I appreciate Pop's pod. This is the most important collegiate sports Pod on YouTube, period, regardless of platform or team that you root for. Shout out to Mrs. Marsh for coming on here. Eleanor, it's going to be a long November for you guys. Just wanted to let you know that. But we appreciate you. You're awesome. I wish you guys
Number
were
5 is on the way.
a little bit south in
Number 5 on the
Columbus
way.
in a real state with a real team, and it would have been amazing. And then your son could have got that work from our boy Daniel's son,
Wow,
Devin, every day at practice.
In November.
Mellows.
Hey, listen, we got 2 freshman All-Americans on our team. They both on defense. I'm calling it now.
Mello, on it tonight.
Number 5 is coming in November.
Number 5. You mean you might get number 1 because the other one's getting vacated, but I mean we won't talk about that right now.
And on that night, we are going to call it a good night.
You even knew. That's why you said I might get number 1. That's how
age.
Yes. Thank you guys for tuning in. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Make sure you follow Pops Pod every other Friday. Same time, same channel. And we appreciate you. On that note, go Bucks. 08.
Go
Always side. Always side.
Yeah, baby. Hey, Tim Kelly ain't